Here with Vicente Luque. Vicente, I got to ask you, I mean, 4 wins in a row, 4 stoppages, 3 bonuses. I mean, things can't be going much better. I mean, is this the best you've ever felt in your career?
I mean, certainly, I think that from the start of my career to the point I am right now, I've been evolving, I've been improving. I have had, some losses on the way, some tough moments, but I always grew after every moment of loss or a tough moment in my life. And at this point, I'm certainly the best at the best moment in my career.
Yeah, no question. Performing great. I got to ask you about this Darce choke, man. You keep pulling this Darce choke out. Are you like drilling this thing every day in the gym, or is it just natural to you? Why are you so good at this?
I have been drilling the Dars and the Anaconda since I'm 17 to 18 years old until now, and finally, it's starting to really work in the fights. I have even before the UFC, I have some finishes with the Dars, but that's something that I've always worked a lot at the gym. I do it constantly, and most of the guys here they already know how to defend it, so that just makes it improve even more because I have to create like different adjustments. So it's something I've always worked in my game, and now it's really paying off in my last fights.
Dangerous weapon, getting you those $50,000 bonus checks. It's nice you've been drilling it for so long, huh?
For sure, definitely, man. Hard work pays off, and now it's literally paying off.
That's awesome, man. All right, well, listen, great run. We did see you in November, of course. You were in this kind of weird backup situation, and you missed weight, which was a little bit surprising for everybody. So I guess I just want to ask kind of what happened. I mean, I know that's such a weird position to be in, right? Like cutting weight, not knowing if you're fighting. So I guess what happened with all that?
The thing is, I got the notice with 10 days. So the UFC called Ali, asking, if I would be available. He hit me up, and I told him, yeah, man, I'm gonna, do the best I can. And at that point, I had to cut about 29, 28 pounds. So I did as much as I could, and I missed 2 pounds. I was 2 pounds over. And it was just tough. I tried my best. I literally like I was focused on being ready, and I thought I was gonna fight, so I wanted to make the weight. A lot of people ask me, "Oh, did you just not give everything?" But I gave everything I had. I was just not sweating anymore. My body at the last hour, I wasn't sweating right before weigh-ins. I tried. I was in the sauna and bathtub until 11, which was like the limit for me to weigh in for the commission, and then I had to go weigh in, and I wasn't able to make it. It was unfortunate, especially because I hate not being professional. For me, making weight is big part of being professional, and it was unfortunate, but I did the best I could, and I still was ready. If I needed to step in there and fight, I would. It would be unfortunate because it wouldn't be a title for me. If I won, I wouldn't get a title, but still, I was gonna do the best I could.
Well, I mean, I think it's understandable. 10 days notice. I didn't realize it was that close. So I guess would you do that again? I mean, if that situation were ever presented to you again, would you do it? Because I guess turning down the opportunity for a title shot is like impossible, right? But at the same time, that's such a hard spot to be in.
I know. I mean, what I think I learned from that is at that point I didn't know if the UFC would even consider me, for a title fight and substitute a title fight at that point. So now that I know that happened, and it might happen again if we have Leon and Kamaru, when I don't know when they will be fighting. If I win my fight, if I have to wait some time, maybe I'll keep myself lighter and kind of be aware that, yeah, maybe, they're going to call me. And hopefully they'll give me some more time this time. But, I know that, okay, it's something that they might consider. Maybe I should keep myself under control a little bit just so that I'm not too over the weight division, too heavy.
Yeah, it seems like maybe they could come to you with that opportunity a little more than 10 days out. Like, maybe give me 3 weeks or something. Give me, a little bit more time.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, I think they offered it to Leon Edwards, and I don't think Leon took it because he had the fight with Masvidal at that point. It was still gonna happen, so that's why they ended up offering it to me after, and then it was very short time. But it is what it is, and I know that it was a great opportunity for me. I know that they do recognize what my me always being ready for these kind of things. So that's I think it was a good move for me.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to talk to them afterwards and make sure that that doesn't impact your ability to fight in a title fight moving forward? Have you discussed it with them at all?
I talked a lot to Ali, and Ali's always in touch with Dana and with Sean, and he let me know, that they appreciated my effort and that they understood that it was 10 days. I try to do my best, so I think they understand that it's hard. The weight cut sometimes it's just it is hard, and as I now I have like 31 fights, so that's 31 weight cuts. It's harder every time. Not because like it's easy because I'm used to it. So I'm used to sauna. I'm used to the diet. I can do that. But every time, like in age as well, I'm 30 years old now. We get heavier, and I'm heavier every single camp. So it's crazy, It's I think it's something that with age and with experience and cutting weight so many times, the body just goes retaining it doesn't want to cut weight anymore. So I think that now I need more time, and it's natural at this point in my career, where I am. It's natural for me to have time between fights. Like for example, this fight, I've been in a long training camp. I know that I have a fight lined up for a long time, so it's much easier to make weight. It's easy, I have a good diet. I cut down the weight slowly, so I get there really light. I don't have to cut much weight in the sauna. So that's something that I think that like when I was younger in 2019, 2018, I was always ready. I was always light. If they gave me two weeks notice, I would make weight easy. But now I think I need some more time. It's just I don't know. It's just evolution, and I'm getting stronger, heavier. It's part of the build.
Like you said, you've always been a professional. That it really didn't even matter. They didn't have to use your services anyway. So we're moving on, and now a main event. Vicente, is this your first main event? This is I can't believe you haven't been in a main event to this point.
Me either, man. I think that I should have fought a main event before this already. I thought a good fight that would have been a great main event was me and Mike Perry in Uruguay. I thought that was something that maybe we would get a main event. But I don't know. I think that my style is really favorable for main events. It's really a style that calls, the fans to watch my fight, regardless of who I'm fighting against. I'm always gonna put on a good fight, and it's good now, to step in there, be the main event, be the fight that everybody wants to watch, and fight 5 rounds, which is something that excites me a lot. I've been waiting for this opportunity.
That's awesome. I mean, in fairness, you've been on some big pay-per-view cards and things like that. So I think they've been trying to make some money out of your exciting style. But a headlining, so does it feel like a special moment in your career? I mean, you've had a bunch of big fights, so it's not like this is the first time you've had the spotlight or something. But being the top of the bill, on the poster, the name, does it feel like a special moment in the career?
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. Being on the poster is something that I think is super cool because, like my last fight, I was waiting to see if the poster, because sometimes the posters has the main event and has the co-main. I was co-main, not my last fight, but the other time with Woodley, and I thought that I might be on that poster, but I wasn't. So now I'm excited to finally, be on the poster. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, I think that whenever when I'm the main event, that's the fight everybody's tuning in to watch. That's the fight everybody's waiting for, and that's just great to have that kind of support from the fans, have that kind of recognition from the UFC. They've been recognizing my work. They know that I'm a guy that can go step in there, put on a great fight. Call the fans to watch it, and also eventually go up the division and hopefully fight for a title soon. So I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm really pumped for it.
You talked about fighting 5 rounds, which obviously, if you're going to fight for a title, you're going to be doing that. I'm just curious, given your style, I mean, have you had to change anything in training, or are you going to have to change anything in terms of strategy? Because obviously, you've got a pretty high energy, high pace. I mean, can you sustain that? Do you believe for 25 minutes, or do you have to maybe take the foot off the gas a little bit?
That's the thing, it's hard for me to take the foot off the gas. I don't know how to fight, let's say, holding back. It's just my style. I go in there and give what I have to give, and if I'm not ready, that's going to be a problem for me. So that's why I make sure in training camp I'm having strength and conditioning, on point. I'm having all my sessions, sparring rounds, as hard as I can, so I'm ready for the real fight. And yeah, this training camp has been really different, and that's something I enjoy because we never know. Maybe the fight is not going to go 5 rounds, but just having a training camp 4 or 5 rounds, I think that gets me ready for eventually, fighting for a title and getting ready for 5 rounds. So that's a great experience that I'm getting right now. And if the fight goes 5 rounds, I'm definitely planning on keeping the high pace I do when it's 3 rounder. But for 5 rounds, that's what I'm going to do always.
I like it. Talk to me about what you thought about this matchup, right? Because obviously you guys have fought before. You beat him pretty soundly. I'm just curious how you approach it second time around. Like on the one hand, I could see, hey man, I'm in this guy's head. He knows I finished him quick last time. On the other hand, it's like, well, how do I improve on that? How do I get any better? You know what I mean? So I guess what is your mindset when this was the opponent that was brought to you?
So my mindset is to forget about the first fight. I think it was a short notice fight. Belal was getting ready for someone else, and the fight lasted less than 2 minutes. So there isn't much I can take from that. Now he has had a whole camp focusing on me. Nowadays I have much more tape to watch, so there is much more material on me. He can really study my game. So I prefer to ignore the first fight and focus on Belal right now, coming off the great streak he is, coming off beating Thompson dominantly the way he did. So I think it's a tough opponent. If I underestimate Belal, that's where I'm gonna lose. That's where I'm gonna give him the opportunity to beat me, and that's not the plan at all. So I'm taking it very seriously. And I look at Belal, he's a really intelligent guy, a really strategical guy, and that's what I think he's gonna try to use all the 5 rounds to kind of kill my game, kill my striking, and try to not let me fight the way I do. And my job is to do the opposite, go in there, impose my will, make sure that I am aggressive and that I bring the pressure to him, because I think that's the best that I do in every fight. Whenever I pressure my opponents, I test how much they can withstand, and usually in most of the fights that I've beaten my opponents, they haven't been able to handle that pressure. So that's the plan.
Very nice. Obviously, outside of you, you guys are probably two of the nicest guys in the sport, man. I mean, I can't imagine the face-off is going to be you guys mean mugging each other. Is it harder to punch a guy in the face when he's as nice and funny and cool as Bilal is?
Ah man, for me it isn't hard to punch anybody in the face because I do it for fun. I do it because I love it. It's not something. I don't need rage. I don't need to be angry at my opponent, man. Even if I love him and we're super friendly, I can still go in there and knock him out. That's not a problem for me. So I think it's gonna be a great fight, and I think his mentality is kind of the same. He's not about emotions and about getting on the other guy's mind. He's about really stepping in there, doing his work and fighting as hard as he can. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to fight hard and put on a great show.
It's going to be a great one. All right, let me ask. I know you can't look past him at all, but man, you're right up at the top of the division. When you look at those names that are around there, obviously Gilbert Burns is there. We're moving that one out. That can't happen. There's a title fight that's lined up that should be happening in the summer. I mean, there's not a lot of names left, right? You win this fight. What are you expecting? I mean, do you think it could be a title fight? I mean, you were elected as a backup, so maybe your name's there. Do you think? I mean, I see the name Colby Covington right there. I would see the name Hamzat Chimaev, but I know you believe Gilbert Burns is going to beat him, so he's not going to be there. So what do you see for yourself? I mean, are you thinking about where? Because, man, you're at the very top of the division. There's not a lot of options.
Yeah, I think right now we got to see what's going to happen. So, as you said, there is Gilbert and Hamzat. I believe Gilbert is going to win that fight, and if he wins, he has fought for the title already. So maybe he wouldn't be next. Now, if Hamzat, for some reason, beats Gilbert, I don't doubt that the UFC, with the hype he has, will want to move him in front of everybody. But then again, we still have Kamaru and Leon. So we got to see what's going to go on with that. And until then, let's say Hamzat wins, I can fight Hamzat and see who's number one contender. Also, Leon and Kamaru, we got to see who's going to keep the title. I don't think it would make sense. Like, if Kamaru remains champion, there's no reason why we have a third fight against Kobe, at least not right now, If Leon beats Kamaru, then that's different. Obviously, Kobe and him haven't fought. But I think we got to see what's going to go on in the division. I got to secure a big win over Belal. That's something I must. That's my focus right now. And then I can think of what's next. But winning and beating Belal in a dominant way is definitely going to put me really close to the title. And then we'll see how the division plays out.
Well said. Well said. A lot of big fights on Taylor. Hey, listen, I got to ask you. I've always wanted to ask you this, but it's fight week normally when I talk to you. At least we're a couple weeks out this time. I know you've talked about it before, but why in the hell were you fighting Maheta back in 2012? Like, what kind of matchmaking is that? Was his manager the promoter? Like, why were you two guys in a cage together?
Man, I don't know. The thing is, me and my coach, we basically started our careers together. Me as a fighter, my coach as a coach, and we didn't know how to pick fights. We didn't. At a point in my career, I fought a guy that had over 40 fights, and I had 6 or 7 fights. So we weren't really smart at that. We were just going in there fighting whoever they matched us up with, and that was that. Whenever they offered us Thiago Santos, all we saw is, okay, he's a striker, I'm a striker, let's do it. It's a no-brainer. And when I got there to the city we were fighting. I was late. When I got there, I weighed in after everyone, so I didn't see him before the fight. The only moment I saw him was inside the octagon. And man, I was impressed. I was like, man, I can't believe this is the guy I'm fighting. And that's why I think I was able to knock him out super quick, because I really was concerned. I didn't want to get hit on that fight because he was big, he was strong. And I was like, man, I got to finish this quick. It worked out. I got a quick knockout, and that was one of my biggest wins at that point. Right before I went into the Ultimate Fighter, I had an interview with the people from the show, and they looked at that and said, "Hey, you knocked out Thiago Santos. Is that the same guy that is fighting in the UFC?" And I said, "Yeah, that's the guy." And said, "Okay, so you probably hit hard. We're gonna put you in the show." So that was a big important win for me.
Is the moment that you were in the cage and you saw him, is that the moment you said to your coach, we got to get better at picking fights because this is not a good idea?
I didn't say anything, but I looked back, to my coach with a face like, man, is this for real? Am I really fighting? Is this the right guy? I think they got the wrong guy in here. But at the end, it worked out.
That's amazing. I can see like looking at the bout sheet. Are we sure we walked in at the right time? Maybe we're supposed to be in the next fight. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great story, man. You'll have that one forever. All right. Well, listen, big main event. I mean, as you said, there's a lot on the line here. We don't know how it's all going to play out because of all the scenarios you laid out. But I guess for you, the goal here is not just a win, but a big win because it could open up a lot of doors.
Yeah, I mean, the focus is on beating Belal and doing it in the fashion I do. I always go in there and try to be as dominant as I can, as decisive as I can, and that's the plan, because that's what has been moving me up in the division. That's what I have of different. I'm not a trash talker. I'm not a guy that's gonna sell my fights by getting into trouble. But then again, my fighting style, that's what people want to see. I step in there and I make it fun regardless of who I'm fighting. And that's why I think that whenever I fight for a title, whoever is the champion, I know I'm going to put them in trouble. I know it's going to be win or lose. It's going to be a tough fight for both guys, because whenever I'm in there, I make it tough. I bring the war. So that's why I think I am going to soon, be fighting for a title. But as you said, I got to go in there and be dominant against Bilal and beat him.
Fantastic. Well, Vicente, thank you for the time as always. Best of luck in finishing up with your preparation, and we'll see you in the cage in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. I want to thank you and all the fans, for always supporting me. And April 16, I'll make sure that I put on the best show I can.